There's something that I have been noticing lately in my work with my clients and I guess in the field, and it's a changing of the guard, and it's so multi-layered. I'm I guess I've been struggling to put this video together, but I know I need to share this message and trust that it will reach those that need to hear it, that are ready to hear it. Because within it, I feel there's this activation of inviting those that are ready, maybe not knowingly ready, to step up into more visibility, to step into their power, to step into more leadership roles. And that can be confronting for some. If you haven't been doing the work, moving through the layers, it can be quite overwhelming and feeling with many, there's a lot of fear of failure, fear of success, and then there can also be a lot of self-worth issues as well. So what I will kind of take you on the journey that has evolved over the past week. And what started on Friday night in my soul evening was a beautiful honoring of my Etheric Circle members. Was very grateful to have that moment before the journey started, just to take this time for each of them. And it eventually the journey led us to this beautiful moment of connecting with the ancestors, connecting with the water guardians. And then we shifted into this space where there was this meeting that was taking place with the dragons, with the giants, which was quite a surprise. And there was this vote that happened that I don't actually know what the outcome was. I just know that it wasn't unanimous. Everyone was able to have their say, and it came to a vote. And I guess it was just came down to majority rules kind of thing. And and then those that had said what they needed to say, they left, and it was just really interesting to then see what flowed through in my world, in my life, and with my work and my clients. And if you're new to me, hi, I'm Natasha. I'm a kinesiologist and a multidimensional quantum healer, and I work with clients one-on-one in Rockingham, and I also have an Etheric Circle membership, which is online, but the soul evenings are held in Oakford. But there is a raw recording available to those that are not based in Perth. And I was really, in the lead up to Friday night's event, I was putting this call out to the dragons because I knew I needed to reach the dragons. And there's something that is stirring within some of us, within our bones. And it's, I'll say it's awakening something, even though I don't like to use the term awakening. And it's helping us all shift into this higher consciousness. And with that, and I've spoken about this in some other videos with I think it was with the Saturn Neptune conjunction, it was really feeling like this energy had come to kind of shift people up into the next level of whatever it is that they're doing in their lives, in their work, whether they're working for someone or they have their own business. And that was could have been challenging for some to make that next step, but it was really about needing to make room for those that are coming, that there's this influx that is coming with whatever collective awakening is going to be occurring. And then the beauty of that is then the healers, the guides, the teachers, those that have been doing this for some time are there ready and waiting, and they're going to be able to help guide the others that are coming through and help shine the light on, well, this is a possibility of a path that you can go down. This is what I learned from my experience, and just, you helping normalize all the the weird and wonderful stuff that happens as we move through this journey of awakening and remembrance and reclamation. I am very big on the reclamation of our own sovereignty, and that can play out in many ways in our lives, in the 3D, in the physical form, and then in the 4D with all of the astral realm. Stuff, I will just say. And then eventually shifting into the 5D. And it's interesting because what happened in a client session on Monday was working on her adrenals and pretty much having this conversation with her cells and like asking who is in charge. And us like it was pretty much like follow the leader, and it was going up the chain and reaching into the hypothalamus, and then it was like this beautiful golden light just came on, and it was like we had switched something on, and then I was able to then see like this beautiful golden waterfall just flowing down, and I guess that was like the cascade of the hormones, and it really felt like it was the HPA axis. And this is the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal axis, and how they communicate and how the hormones trigger each other to, help us move through our life. And it was interesting because that insight came through, I was seeing, like the sense that I got was like she was like the calm in the chaos, and it was like, how do we how do we slow down what's happening outside, or just bring more of that stillness and allow that to expand? And the answer I got was her and self. And so it was about going within. And so as we went within, that was when I saw that happen. And then afterwards, it was realizing like she was back in control of her body, because when we get hormonal, when these hormonal shifts are happening. So a lot of the clients I'm talking to at the moment are about perimenopause and menopause, and just feeling like these hormones shifts are just taking over your body and you're not having any say or any control. And that transition could be simply about because maybe it is time to let go of control. We've been so conditioned to live a certain way and be so structured, and it's about being productive, and that has come at such a cost to so many of us. So many of us are in burnout, but trying to always stay productive so that we can be worthy. So it's really just so many layers within it, and helping her come back in control. Like I'm looking forward to what will happen in the following sessions, how that shift will play out. And it's similar to a client last week where you may have heard of the like, don't let fear be driving the car. So you may have let fear of, whether it's like I was talking before, fear of failure or even fear of success be running the show, but it can stay in the car with you. It can be the passenger, or it can be the backseat driver, but it's not the one in control. So you're the one that's still going to be choosing where you take your turns and where you slow down, where you speed up. And it was with last week's client, again, with the hormonal shifts, it was taking back that control, coming back into the driver's seat, with the emotional regulation. So it was really seeing how the fear doesn't run the show, the fear doesn't trigger, initiate all of these emotions that are fear-based, because we are shifting out of these lower grids of fear and scarcity and lack. And that can be hard for some because that's all we have known in some cases, and there can be safety in what you know and fear of the unknown. So it was really interesting just to see that come through, and then that's helped me see the change of command, the changing of the guard that has happened is really helping us come out of that survival based just instinctual way of life. And what then happens as a result of that, that there's all these internal structures that need to reorganize, all of our neural pathways need to be repatterned, our emotional responses need to be rewired, and our hormones need to be reorganized. So it's really interesting just to see it on that level, and then how much of that is happening on a cellular level, like if you go down right to the micro, and then how much of is that happening on a global level if you go out on the macro. So the invitation that I was given on Sunday at a workshop was to look at that internal state and do your own, I guess, self-audit, and then maybe look at what's happening around you, and maybe again do another audit, and then look at it on a global scale and do another audit, and see most likely how much it is being diluted the further away from self that you go. But then as you're making that um, stretch outwards, see it as this stretch, and what is it actually letting you see the gaps in between? What are you missing? What are the missing pieces, and how can you fill them in? And then when it comes back in together, it's coming back with more ease and more cohesion and more fullness and richness. And I feel like, again, that's with the changing of the guard, it's being more compassionate, it's being more loving, more understanding, but not at risk of self, not at, not just trying to people please, not trying to, um, what do I want to say? I guess maybe it's insert here whatever it is that you feel could be getting stirred up within you. So having that honest self-reflection, and then applying it on the outer lens, and then bringing it back in and looking again. And like as always, being kind to yourself with that. So seeing what you are responsible for, what you can be accountable for, what you're maybe turning a blind eye to, and what isn't yours and what is yours. So um, I think the final message I want to share with you is just to connect in with your body and with your heart, and just look at where the changing of the guard could be happening within your own life, or maybe if you need to call that changing of the guard in, if you're ready to step out of survival and into this life where you can thrive, and not knowing what that is actually going to look like. So maybe even just taking a moment now to just place your hand on your heart, and just taking a breath in and just tracking that breath, seeing where you may feel some tightness or constriction, or seeing where that breath is landing in your body. Is there anything that you're feeling, anything that you're thinking? And that can just be the torch shining on where you can start today. That it doesn't have to be this big overhaul, or this big coup. There can be a gentle and I guess respectful changing of the guard. So really tuning into your own nervous system. And there are many different practices that you can do to help regulate your own nervous system. There's definitely many practitioners that you can reach out to. Obviously, not just myself, there's many out there. Find what is right for you, and always practice your own discernment. And the more your nervous system is regulated, then the more you'll be able to make that choice of what that changing of the guard will mean for you. And I guess doing it less out of fear or um, any restrictions or limitations, and more leaning forward into that soft expansion. So I hope that was helpful for you. Please share it in the comments if you had anything resonate for you. And please hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. Bye for now.